Now we're going to move away from budgeting for a bit and talk specifically about accounting and financial reporting. So, like any other industry, governments and businesses operate under organizations of standards. Okay, so for businesses, we have the Financial Accounting Standards Board, which basically sets the tone and the standards as to how businesses conduct their fiscal transactions. For governments, on the other hand, we have what we call GASB, which is the Government Accounting Standards Board. And they set the standards and the methods of transactions, fiscal transactions for governments. Now, under both of these types of standards, they outline how governments and businesses will carry out their accounting systems. Now, what is an accounting system? An accounting system is basically a method of assembling and analyzing and reporting financial data. Now, when we think about financial data, we're talking about source documentation, journals, ledgers, and as well as procedures and controls for reporting fiscal data. Okay. Now, source documentation basically refers to the original transactions as they occur. Journals, of course, are recordings of those transactions in chronological order, and ledgers basically are reports that show the balances and revenues regarding fiscal transactions. Now, there are three bases of accounting. Okay, we have what we call cash accounting, we have accrual accounting, and we also have modified accrual accounting. Now, businesses, for the most part, operate primarily off of cash accounting. Smaller businesses, anyway, will operate off of cash accounting. And cash accounting basically says that revenues and expenditures are posted when cash exchanges hands, right? That's quite simple. So that's why smaller businesses will generally operate on a cash accounting basis. Larger organizations or larger firms will operate off of what we call accrual accounting. Accrual accounting means that revenues will be posted when earned and expenditures will be posted when services or goods are used. Okay? Now, GASB highly recommends that governments operate within the basis of accounting known as modified accrual accounting. And what modified accrual accounting does, it takes cash accounting and accrual accounting and it uses the most conservative components of both of those bases of accounting. So what do I mean? So modified accrual accounting refers to revenues being posted when measurable and available, and expenses being reported when a liability is incurred. On the other hand, right, you don't report revenue until you actually receive the money. However, you report expenditures when the transaction takes place, right? Money may not have exchanged hands, however, but when a government or an entity knows that it owes money for a specific transaction or a business that it may have been involved in, it will go ahead and record the expenditure as basically money no longer available to them, right? However, with revenue, when it knows that it owes money, it will go ahead and deduct the money from its available accounts. So that's why we call it modified accrual accounting, because again, it's trying to be very conservative in how it reports expenditures and revenues. Now, GASB also recommends governments have specific ways as to how they organize their budget data. Now, oftentimes, governments will organize their data in what we know as chart of accounts. Okay, now chart of accounts are uniformed formats of organizing fiscal data, organized by categories, organized by accounts, and it provides a checklist as to how, or rather a guide as to how governments will record their expenditures and their revenues and their fiscal transactions. Chart of accounts include special classifications of coding. Okay, classifications set out large categories of financial transactions. Coding set out labels and definitions for specific transactions. Codes can be multi-layered, where the length and digits have specific meanings. Basically, this system is a guide as to how expenditures and revenues will be tracked, right? So every fiscal transaction that takes place within the entity will be coded, and given that code, you will know exactly where the money went and where the money came from. Now here's an example, right, of a multi-layered coding system within a chart of account. Okay, here in this account we have account number 001 26050 510101. Now here we have 001, which stands for a fund, a funding source. Okay, now within our scenario, 001 stands for the general fund. So when I see 001, I know that that transaction takes place within the general fund. 26. Now if you see starting in the second set of numbers, I have 260501. The 26 in my situation stands for a program code, and this program code is the department number for the police department. Okay, so now look, going back to the chart number, we have 001, 26. This is the general fund, and this is the department 26 within the general fund, which is the police department. Okay, then I also have 0501, right? 0501 here is a specific category or a specific division, and in this situation 0501 is the East Downtown Patrol Unit within the police department. So again, going back up here to our number, we have 001 260501, and again that tells me that this is the general fund department, this is the police department, and within the police department this is the East Downtown Patrol Unit. Okay, now looking at the third set of numbers, this gets into the type of transaction that we're dealing with. Here the 5 stands for an object code as an expense category. Okay, so when I see a 5 in front of this number, I automatically know that this is an expenditure. Okay, now the 10101 following the 5 is another object code for a specific category of expenditures, and this specific account refers to salaries. Okay, so now going back to our number, it makes sense now. 001 is a general fund department, or general fund in general. 26 is the department, which is the police. 0501 is the East Downtown Patrol Division. 5 is an expenditure, and then the 10101 tells me that the expenditure is for salaries. Another example here would be if we had 003, right? Here in this scenario, 003 stands for the Growth Management Fund. 25 is the Growth Management Department. 0601 is the program code for code inspection or code enforcement. Now, looking at the third set of numbers now, you'll notice that our number starts with 3. Now, within this scenario, or within my city, right, 3 means it's revenue. So when I see a 5, as on the prior slide, that's an expense. But when I see a 3, that tells me this is a revenue. Okay? So now, looking beyond that 3, we have 20510. This specific category refers to housing inspection fees. Okay, so now looking at this chart of account, I can see 003, which is the Growth Management Fund, 25, which is the Growth Management Department, 0601, which is code enforcement, the 3 in my third set of numbers, this means it's the revenue, and then the 25, the 20510, right, tells me what kind of revenue it is, which is housing inspection fees.